All right, welcome. This is LiquidSpace 101. My name is Lisa Judd, and I'm a Senior Partner Success Manager at LiquidSpace. And joining me today to assist with the Q&A portion at the end of the webinar is my colleague, Ricky Dorman, who is Director of Strategic Partnerships at LiquidSpace. A recording of this webinar will be sent out this week to everyone who registered. Additionally, if you have any questions, we will have time for a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So please feel free to submit those questions via the Zoom Q&A functionality throughout the webinar and at the end. As far as the agenda for today, we're going to have a quick LiquidSpace overview. Then we'll touch upon workspace reentry. Then I'll go into a product demo, which will review how to best manage a LiquidSpace profile as a venue host. Following the product demo, I'll be reviewing our newest product, LiquidSpace PRO. And at the very end, we'll have time for Q&A. For those of you who are new to LiquidSpace or are less familiar, we are the largest network of flexible office spaces. We have over 11,000 locations in 2,500 plus cities. LiquidSpace provides companies the ability to discover, transact, and manage their flexible office portfolios all in one place. We have three different types of products that we offer. The first is hourly space, and this can be instantly booked on LiquidSpace. Examples of hourly spaces include meeting rooms, co-working, event spaces, and private offices available on an hourly or daily basis. And fun fact, we were actually founded about 10 years ago as a marketplace for only hourly space. And then about 6 years ago, we added our second product, which is monthly space to the platform. And this is dedicated space that is typically leased for a month or longer. Examples include open seating desks, dedicated desks, private offices, and office suites. Our third product that we offer is called LiquidSpace Enterprise. And through this offering, we help enterprise companies develop and manage their work from anywhere workplace strategy. As part of our LiquidSpace Enterprise offering, we have our Mobility Manager program and the Pro Network. On the demand side of our business, we work with enterprise companies, individuals, teams, and many startups who are looking for space on a flexible basis. On the supply side of our business, we divide our marketplace into three categories. The first is workspace as a service, which includes co-working spaces and business centers. Secondly, we also partner with private businesses or companies who are looking to sublease their available space. And the third category is landlords who offer space on a flexible basis. Over the past almost year, we've seen the demand for office space constantly evolve. Based on the current demand signals that we are receiving from clients, we believe that there are three main categories for flex workspace demand going forward. The first is collaborative workspace on demand. This includes meeting rooms and conference rooms needed on an hourly or daily basis so coworkers can connect and get together. The second category is individual workspace, which will be needed both on demand and as dedicated space. This would primarily include smaller private offices for those individuals who are looking to work close to home in a private space. And then the third category is dedicated space for teams that are no longer working at their headquarters. These teams that are looking for space that is close to home and private as well. Acknowledging these three categories, we recommend merchandising your LiquidSpace profile for this type of demand. We believe it's important to have these three types of inventory listed in your LiquidSpace profile, and I'll be walking you through exactly how to do that next. So that takes us to the product demo portion of the webinar. So I'll switch screens. So what we're looking at now is the LiquidSpace marketplace in the Denver area. This is where users, teams, and companies can come and search for space that's available on a monthly or hourly basis. Additionally, they have the ability to filter by different requirements that they're looking for. So if I came in and searched in Denver, I picked monthly space. I can pick my start date of when I'm looking to start leasing space. And then if I click these additional filters, I'm able to select the different requirements that I'm looking for. So I can dictate whether that's a desk or a suite or an office, my price range, the capacity, square footage, the type of environment that I'm looking for. and then specific amenities and services as well. So if I want to see if a co-working location or service office has a health and safety policy in place around COVID-19, I can select that option here. I can dictate whether I'd like a space that has 24/7 access, is furnished, has Wi-Fi, and many other features included here. As I apply these different requirements, you'll see that the pins on the map will populate accordingly to show which locations offer space that meets my needs. And on the right-hand side here, you can see different spaces as well. So here are the different locations on the map and then the spaces. If I was to click on one of these pins, it would take me to the profile for that location. Each location has its own profile, and up top here, you can see first those common area photos of that location, followed by space-specific photos. In this case, I'm looking at Thrive Workplace, which is a co-working space that's based out of downtown Denver. Here you can see that Thrive Workplace branding. Below that is the property description that includes information about Thrive's brand, the location itself, the surrounding area, transportation details, and anything that's pertinent to know about this specific location. Here you can see that they do have their health and safety policy published. They have added this to the back end of their profile, and as a result, they've received LiquidSpace's health and safety policy badge. If someone was to click on that, it would take them to a pop-up window where they can go and view Thrive's health and safety policy. Additionally, on the right here, you can see that they've received 3 5-star reviews. Reviews are left by individuals who have booked their hourly or daily spaces, so their meeting rooms or day offices. And you can see, once I clicked on those reviews, it took me to the bottom of the page where I can view and read those reviews. If I scroll back up to the top, you can see on the right-hand side, this venue is hosted by Stacy. The venue has set Stacy as what we call as the primary host, and I'll show you how to dictate whose name populates there as the main point of contact. And then Thrive is listed as open. This was another product update that we added in addition to the health and safety policy in response to COVID-19. We knew a lot of locations were member-only access, temporarily closed. So we asked that if you haven't already, please go in and confirm whether you're open, member-only access, or closed at this time. If I scroll down, you can see the different monthly spaces that Thrive has available at the moment. And if I was interested in learning more about one of these spaces, I could click. It would take me to the page where there's more information, including square footage and a space description that the location has added. Since this is a dedicated space, most people are going to schedule a tour so they can come by and see the space before committing to a month term or longer. To schedule a tour, they just would click this orange schedule tour button, select their preferred date, the time they'd like to drop by, and then they can enter in a message, their desired move-in date, the duration of which they would like to stay, their full name, email, phone number, and company information is required. And then they would click the Schedule My Tour button, and anyone who's been added on the back end of this profile would receive an email as well as a message notifying them that they have a tour request. And it is a request, so it's up to you whether you want to accept the tour, reschedule. You can respond back if you have any questions for this individual, or you can cancel the tour or decline it as well. Below Schedule Tour, you'll also see that someone has the option to request to book a space. This typically only happens if there's someone who is looking at, let's say, a private office. They're out of town, they need it for a month. They know that they want to go ahead and book this space without seeing it. This individual could then request to book the space. On your end, once again, you receive a message as well as an email when this request to book does come through. You can approve them to book online utilizing LiquidSpace's payment platform and license agreement, or you can approve them to book offline utilizing your own license agreement and payment method. If I go back to that main profile, I'll switch over to the different hourly spaces that are available at this location. So here you can see that they have 4, looks like 3 meeting rooms and 1 training room available. And as you can see here, some of these spaces are blocked out in red, which means that someone can't come in and book it during that period of time. And this is put in place through a calendar integration. If you do have hourly or daily spaces listed in your profile, we highly, highly recommend that you do have a calendar integration in place. This pulls in your real-time availability, so someone from LiquidSpace can't come in and book at that same time when that space is already reserved by one of your members, and vice versa. It is a two-way integration, so if someone does book through LiquidSpace, that booking would populate on your members' calendars. We integrate with all major calendar systems, including Google, Outlook, Census, Office R&D, and the list goes on. If you are not sure if you have a calendar integration set up, you can reach out to our support team in the window of when you log into LiquidSpace, you'll see this little chat window here, and you can reach out to them to ask if you do have that calendar integration in place. If you don't, they'll be able to assist you with getting that set up and provide instructions based on the calendar system that you utilize. If someone wanted to come in and book one of these spaces, these bookings are done in real time. So going back to that calendar view, let's say I want to book this private meeting room from 12 to 4 p.m. today. I would click and change that time to 4 p.m. So I have that 4-hour window. If I have any additional details I need to add or request for amenities and services, I can do so here. Then I can press continue. And at this point, I'd be asked to enter in my payment information and email. And this way I can complete this booking in real time. On the main profile below those different spaces, you'll see here the amenities and services that are offered at this location. You can see a map that we pull in to showcase this location, the different transportation around it. And then below that is Thrive Workplace's latest tweets that are also coming through, and then those reviews. If you are new to LiquidSpace and you need to create a profile for your location, it's really easy to do so. You can just go to liquidspace.com. And right here it says, where do you need space? However, you're going to go up here and say list space instead of find space. So I'll click that list space button, enter in your street address. And then after you enter that and click start for free, it will take you through a few additional prompts asking you what the name of your location is, what type of spaces you have. And then once you complete the 5 steps, which should take about a minute, you'll have your initial profile set up. And I'll take you now to the back end of what that profile looks like for a venue host. So let me switch screens once again. So what we're looking at now is called Venue Manager, and this is the back end of a single location. If you are managing multiple locations, you'll need to go into each profile for that location, and you can do so by clicking this My Venues button here. All the different profiles that you're attached to will show, and you can click that Manage Venue button for an alternative location to manage that specific location. To get back to that public-facing view, you'll just click Preview, which will show you what your profile looks like to the public. On the left-hand side here, you can see there's different sections in Venue Manager. I'm in the first section I'm going to take you through is Venue Setup, and this is where you manage all your property-specific details, including payment information, who can manage the profile, your health and safety policy, and whether you're open or not. So up top here, you'll see it says unconfirmed hours. I'll show you shortly how you can confirm whether you're open or not. And then below that, you'll see this LiquidSpace Pro network banner. I'll also dive in to what LiquidSpace Pro is in a little bit. So if I scroll down past that, we'll get into venue details. First up top, we have that profile name. This is just a LiquidSpace test profile. So Clubhouse demo is not a real location, but I'm just going to use this profile as an example. So if I needed to change that name for any reason, it's really easy to do so. You can see that address here that will already be entered once you go through that 5-step prompt process. But let's say you forgot to add your suite number, you can go in here and add that information. Below the map that auto-populates, you'll see we request a phone number. This would just be the best point of contact for our sales team to reach your location at. This is not shared externally outside of LiquidSpace. And then if you do want tweets to populate at the bottom of your profile, like I showed you that Thrive has done, you can add your Twitter handle here and it will automatically pull in those tweets. Below that is the property description. So this is where you can add information about your brand, the surrounding area, or amenities. And once again, it's very easy to edit this as you need. And here you'll see that brand logo. If you need to update the logo for any reason, you can click change logo and upload your new image. We typically recommend just pulling in the logo that you're utilizing on LinkedIn as it pulls in that square. Below the logo is payment information. Payment information is how you would like to accept payment from LiquidSpace. So at the end of each month, we collect a lump sum of all bookings that have been done on LiquidSpace, whether they're hourly or monthly bookings, and we send a lump sum to whatever information is listed here. So you can dictate if you'd like to receive that payment by check, ACH, or PayPal. If you select ACH, just make sure you're adding in your routing number and bank account information here. If you are transacting dedicated deals outside of LiquidSpace, so if there's a private office for 5 on a 6-month term, you want to use your own license agreement and payment method, instead of LiquidSpace collecting the payment, you would be collecting it directly from the client. And as a result, LiquidSpace would invoice you for our 10% flat fee. So we would invoice whatever email is listed here. So just make sure that this is the best accounts payable email address. As far as the LiquidSpace fees, as I just mentioned, for any dedicated space, a month term or longer, the LiquidSpace fee is 10%. For any hourly or daily bookings, so meeting rooms, day offices, those types of listings, the fee structure is different. It's a tiered fee structure. The first booking for an individual, it's a 50% fee to LiquidSpace. The second time that same individual books, it's a reduced 25% fee. And the third time they book and every booking thereafter is a flat 10% fee. Below payment information is the team members. This is where you can manage who has access to manage the profile on the back end. So here you can see we have a lot of team members added. If I needed to add someone new, I would go and click add a team member, enter in their first name, last name, email. If they would like to receive text notifications, you can add that phone number. And then there's 3 different roles to select from. The venue, there's only gonna be one venue owner on our profile. Almost everyone else is going to be a venue host. The only difference between a venue owner and a venue host is that the venue owner can delete other people from the profile. The third role here is just a calendar admin. Calendar admins can view and edit the calendar and hours, but they cannot respond or edit the profile. Generally, almost everyone is a venue host. And then when you add someone, you can manage the notification preferences for that individual. So if someone wants access to log into LiquidSpace, but doesn't want to receive a message every time there's a tour request or someone is responding back about a space, you can turn off those notification preferences here. And then to set who that public-facing individual on the profile is, this is where you can select who the primary host is. If you are the primary host, we recommend adding a picture to your profile. So when someone is looking at your location, they can see who they're reaching out to. Below team members, we have welcome information. This section is only pertinent to those hourly and daily spaces. So when someone does book a meeting room or a day office, you can add a custom greeting that you'd like them to receive after they've completed the booking. And then you can also receive input entry instructions that you'd like them to receive as well. The next section is health and safety policy. It's very easy to add your health and safety policy. You can either link to your website where you house that policy, or you can copy and paste it directly into this field. After you do so, you will receive our health and safety policy badge. Below that is the hours section. So this is where you can confirm whether your location is open and accepting guest bookings. If you select limited access, your profile is visible and open for tours, but those hourly and daily bookings and reservations are limited to members only. So this would automatically mark those meeting rooms and day offices as temporarily unavailable. And then the third option is temporarily unclosed. If your location has unfortunately permanently closed, you can unpublish it from LiquidSpace here. Next, we have where you can set your guest hours and your observed holidays. Your guest hours are when those hourly and daily spaces are available for booking. So if you accept meeting room bookings from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can go in and update your guest hours here accordingly. You're also able to select your observed holidays. These automatically default to on as they're common holidays where spaces are typically closed. If you need to add additional dates where you have closures in place, you can add those exceptions in here. So as an example, let's say I'm closed next week. I'd say 15th through the 19th. I'm going to be closed, and this applies to all of my workspaces. Lastly, you have the option to add or edit your booking window. This is how much time, the minimum notice you have in place for someone to book one of those hourly or daily spaces. So as an example here, LiquidSpace defaults to a 2-hour minimum notice. That means someone right now could book 2 hours from now, which gives you 2 hours to prepare for their arrival. However, if you need more time, you can add that to 4 business hours and edit it here. And that sums up the venue setup section. As you make those changes, just make sure you're always clicking save at the end to make sure that they are reflected within your profile. Now that we've covered the venue setup section, the next section that I'm going to move into is what we call spaces. And this is where you can manage your monthly and hourly availability. Up top here, you can see monthly spaces populate first. And if I scroll down, you can see all the hourly spaces that we've added to this profile. Right now, all these spaces are listed as private or hidden, which means they're not publicly visible in the LiquidSpace marketplace. This isn't a real profile, so we want to make sure that we are actually showcasing fake spaces. But if I was a real venue and let's say Suite 10 was available, I could go here and change that status to public to ensure that it is visible to everyone. If you have a private space that you've created, so let's say you're talking to a company and you have custom pricing that you want to offer them, you can create a space, make it as private, and then you can send them the link to that space so they're able to view it on their end. And then hidden just means it's not visible to anyone. So those are the 3 options that you can choose from. If I click into Suite 10, you can see the space template here. So up top, it first asks you for the space name. You can set the listing type as monthly, day pass, or hourly. And based on the option that you select here, the other next fields will populate accordingly based on what option you choose. So since I have selected monthly here are my different space types to choose from. And you can see definitions here on the right of how we classify a team office versus an office suite. Since I've selected private office, I'm asked to enter in the capacity and square footage for that specific space. And then here's where I can enter in that space description. We highly recommend including as much information as possible about the space. To add photos to your profile and for that specific space that you're adding, in this case, Suite 10, you would do so in this section by clicking this upload more photos button. They'll populate in this upper area, and then you'll need to drag and drop into Suite 10 or into the common area. And then you can reorder these photos as you'd like to show up within your profile. So all these common area photos are going to show first when someone's looking at your location, followed by any suites or space specific photos. And as far as your common area photos, we'd highly recommend showing your exterior of the building, the entryway, the lobby, the reception, the kitchen, and including as professional as pictures as possible. Below photos, you can add a video tour. For video tours, we accept YouTube links. You can also add a virtual tour. For virtual tours, we accept Matterport links, and then you can upload a PDF flyer. Price and terms are set for each space. So here you can easily enter and edit the monthly price as needed. Minimum term is going to default to a 1 month minimum term, but you can select a higher minimum term if you need to. If possible, we recommend just setting that minimum term to 1 month and listing that 1 month minimum term monthly price. Ultimately, right now, people are looking for a lot of flexibility, and you can always, if they come in and tour, negotiate a longer term at a lower price. Deposit's going to default to a 1 month deposit, but you can also select no deposit or 2 months. And if you collect a one-time setup fee, you can enter in that fee here. There's also the option to showcase discounts for extended terms. So if you want to encourage users to book for a longer period up front, you can add in that discounted rate here, and this will populate in your profile as well. Below is where you can select the amenities and services that come with your building as well as for that space. So up top, these are the amenities and services that come with your property. These will stay consistent across all your listings that you create. So up top, it's very easy to select and deselect these amenities. And then below, when you add a space, you'll need to manually go in and select the amenities and services that come with that space in particular. And these are the different filters that users are searching by in that marketplace view. So if your space does have Wi-Fi and it's furnished, you're going to want to make sure that these are selected here. And if you need to add additional information around parking, coffee, tea, you can do so by clicking edit and indicating whether there's a fee and adding any more details here. The last part of each dedicated space listing, so for a space that's for a month term or longer, is our dash license section. As I mentioned earlier, for your dedicated spaces for your monthly listings, you do have the ability to close these deals and collect payment through LiquidSpace utilizing our dash license and payment platform. Our dash license was developed about 5 or 6 years ago when we added monthly spaces to LiquidSpace, and it's essentially a standardized terms and conditions agreement. If you want to take a look at it, you can click here to download the PDF and see what it includes. And you can actually customize the dash license and the deal by adding house rules for that specific suite or for your location here. And whatever you add will automatically pull into the dash license. So when that company is reviewing the dash license, they will see your house rules included. And I'll show you how you close that deal on LiquidSpace shortly. Once again, just make sure always saving in the upper right-hand corner here. And then before I move into the next section, which will be the dashboard, I'm just going to drop down to an hourly space to give you an example of how it's a bit different to a monthly space. So I'll click into this boardroom. So since I've selected hourly as listing type, my space options are a bit different. Here I've also selected private meeting room, and the capacity is 12. I'm not asked to enter in the square footage in this case for a meeting room. Photos remain the same. You can easily add that video tour, virtual tour, or PDF flyer. However, price is going to look a little bit different. So since this is an hourly space, you can add that per hour, per half day, or per day pricing here. Amenities and services are also going to be a little bit different for this space because this is a meeting room versus an office. If I go back to spaces, one other thing I forgot to mention is how you can set the availability date for a specific dedicated space. So we're back in that suite 10. Let's say suite 10 is an office space. I know the company's moving out next month and I want to pre-merchandise this space. I can go up where it says available now, click that down arrow, and you'll see this box open up where I can add the availability date. So let's say I want to say this space is available May 1st. I'd click that May 1st availability, save, and within my profile now people would see suite 10 available May 1st. The last part of the product demo is just around the dashboard section. So the dashboard section, in summary, is kind of like your sales pipeline for your dedicated space deals. Up top, you'll see mention of a venue score here. Venue score impacts how many people see your listings and how many leads you receive. So there are 3 components to the venue score, and this venue score applies to all profiles on LiquidSpace. So the first one here is freshness. Every 30 days, if you have monthly spaces publicly listed, you will receive an email from LiquidSpace asking you to confirm that your monthly availability is up to date. You can click on the confirm button within the email, or you can go into your LiquidSpace profile and click confirm there as well. If you make any changes to your monthly listings, let's say change one from public to hidden, or you update the pricing, we'll know that you're actively going in and updating the spaces, and you'll be marked as fresh. So if you haven't done anything to your spaces in 30 days, this will demote your listings within our marketplace search results. So we highly recommend every 30 days just going in and making the necessary changes. The second part of the venue score is responsiveness, and this is how quickly you're responding to those tour requests or messages. By quickly, we consider timely to be 24 hours or less. Please keep in mind, people move really quickly when they are making a decision around Flex Office. People who are reaching out to you may be reaching out to 4 to 5 other different venues and making tour requests. So if they've already toured 3 locations before they hear back from you, it's likely that they're not going to end up at your location. You can see here this location hasn't had 5 or more messages to receive a responsiveness score. If this is the case for you, please know that this will not negatively impact your listing, how many people are seeing your listings. And then the third component of the venue score is conversion. Conversion is the number of deals that come through and how many of those actually turn into closed won deals. If you have a strong conversion rate, you're more likely to show within our search results. If you do not have a score here, in conversion, if it says not available, just like responsiveness, once again, this will not negatively impact how many people are viewing your listings. Below that little venue score banner, you'll see that there's a few different sections. We have new deals, which represent people who have reached out to you that you have not yet engaged with. Once you engage with them, they'll become an active deal, and then you can update active deals to closed won or closed lost. So here you can see as an example, I requested a tour this morning to see Suite 10. If your venue in this timing works well for you, you can click here to confirm the tour and write back a customized message. If you just wanted to respond back, you can do so. You can cancel the tour or you can reschedule the tour. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm as an example. See you soon. And now that this has been confirmed, it might take a second, but it should update accordingly to saying tour confirmed. And let's say Lisa came by to my location, loved Suite 10, would like to go ahead and book the space. You have 2 options. You can either approve Lisa to book online, which would be utilizing LiquidSpace's Dash license and payment platform. So LiquidSpace would just be collecting the payment on your behalf. Or you can approve them to book offline and send instructions for how you'd like them to move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and approve Lisa to book online as an example. So Lisa's now an active deal. In this case, Lisa would receive an email from LiquidSpace saying Clubhouse Demo has approved you to book for Suite 10. Here's the Dash license. Here's the house rules that they've added. If you're ready to pay, enter in your payment information and book the space. However, if let's say Lisa visited yesterday, you just signed when you were there, so you provided your own license agreement and payment platform and the deal closed outside of LiquidSpace, you can easily report that deal back to LiquidSpace as update to 1 and enter in the details and terms of this deal. This would notify us that Lisa booked at your location, and instead of collecting payment from Lisa, we would invoice you for that 10% for that term for up to the first year. However, if Lisa decided not to move forward with your location, you can let us know that this deal has been lost and let us know the reasons why here. And then all those deals will continue to be housed in closed won and closed lost. The last part of the dashboard that I'll go through is the prospect section. So these represent people who have created saved searches in LiquidSpace. It doesn't represent everyone who's searching in LiquidSpace, it's only saved searches. And by creating a saved search, someone opts into receiving what we call proposals from venues. So as an example here, we see Victoria S is looking for an office for 8 as soon as possible. She wants to be in Oakland in preferably this zip code. Her budget range says 350, but I'm guessing for an office for 8, she may not know exactly what she's looking for. And she viewed one listing. If you have space, an office for 8 in the Oakland area, you can create a proposal and reach out and send a custom message to Victoria. So maybe in this case it says, hey, Victoria, I have an office for 8. It's obviously higher than your price range, but I'd love for you to come in and see the space and we can talk about pricing. This is a great way to reach out to people who may not have seen your location, but are still actively searching for space. And that sums up the product demo portion of the webinar. So I'll go quickly back to my slide deck to walk through LiquidSpace Pro, and then we'll open it up to questions. So LiquidSpace Pro was developed in 2020. And in short, LiquidSpace Pro is a curated network of enterprise-grade spaces. As we've been in conversations with many companies, the new challenge for workplace leaders is how do I efficiently manage a distributed workplace? Our response to these companies is LiquidSpace Enterprise. LiquidSpace Enterprise is the flexible office procurement platform that helps enterprise clients discover enterprise-grade spaces, transact with confidence on a single contract, and manage multiple flexible office contracts with ease, as well as manage access and permissions for their teams in one place. The LiquidSpace Pro network is a component of the LiquidSpace Enterprise offering and was developed based on direct feedback from our enterprise clients. They told us that they typically go to larger brands for their flexible office needs. They use those brands because they know they have high quality space standards and ultimately for the ease of transaction. However, these companies have expressed that they want and need to access a broader network of space, especially in smaller and suburban markets. So we wanted to develop an alternative option, and that became the Pro network. So why should you join LiquidSpace Pro? There are 3 main partner benefits to enrolling in Pro. The first is premium placement in our marketplace. This would also include additional exposure in marketing and sales campaigns. The second benefit would be the Pro badge, which you would receive on your profile and listings pages. So that Pro badge would apply to both your monthly and hourly listings. And that indicates that you are part of the Pro network and available to transact on a single contract. And then the third partner benefit is our preferred partner rate on-demand spaces. So this would be for any hourly or daily bookings, that original tiered fee structure that I mentioned of 50, 25%, 10. Instead of that fee structure, it would be a 20% flat rate for all hourly daily bookings through LiquidSpace. The venue criteria for Pro is based on 3 qualifiers. The first is that you have quality space. Additionally, Pro is only available to co-working and serviced office locations at this time. The second criteria is that you've opted in to use the Dash license for when an enterprise client requests it for those dedicated space deals and LiquidSpace payment. And the third is that your venue maintains a high venue score. So that includes the freshness, responsiveness, and conversion of your spaces. I just wanted to go a little deeper into what you're agreeing to by opting into use the Dash license. In order to meet the needs of enterprise clients, we needed to streamline transactions with a standardized license agreement, and that is Dash. We introduced Dash when we added monthly listings to our site 5 years ago and has since then been used in thousands of transactions. So it is very industry vetted. It was also developed in partnership with real estate attorneys, building owners, co-working businesses, and startup founders. And as I went through earlier, you also have the ability to customize the Dash license with your own house rules. It's very easy to enroll in LiquidSpace Pro. I'll quickly show you how to do so, and then we'll have time for questions. So back in that profile, you should see this LiquidSpace Pro banner up here. If you do not see it, let us know and we'll make sure that it is enabled for your profile. But first you can click here to learn more. There's a brief 1-minute video that summarizes what I just went through. And then below you'll see those different Pro partner benefits. If you click Get Started, you'll be able to scroll through the specific terms to become a LiquidSpace Pro partner. So the first one that you can see is that enterprise quality space, agreeing to use the Dash license, also agreeing to use LiquidSpace payment, maintaining a good venue score, and then the last piece is best price guarantee. So you're agreeing not to charge enterprise clients more for closing a deal through LiquidSpace than you would charge them directly. After you click this agree to terms, it will let you know that your application has been submitted, and someone from our team will review your profile, will let you know if you have any recommendations, and if you have been approved to become a Pro partner, we'll confirm, and you will receive, you'll see that Pro badge on your profile. And this Pro badge will be visible to our enterprise sales team, as well as the different enterprise companies that we work with who are enrolling in LiquidSpace Enterprise.